Oh hey, how's it going? Welcome back to episode 2 of, well, Andy Donaldson Presents, I guess. I don't know what I'm going to call this vlog yet. The second one. So, the task for this evening is to go through my inventory of pictures to see what I have, see what I need. Next weekend, on the 17th, is Art on the Alley in New Philadelphia. It's a big event. They've had it 3-4 years now. This will be my 3rd year in doing it. And I have to say I do pretty well there. Not to brag or anything. Some events are better than others. It all depends on the weather. Weather has a lot to do with it. It has to do with a lot of things. But what I find most rewarding about it is the fact that I can sit there and talk about my art with people, which I think is pretty cool. I guess my best advice for anybody who's a photographer, playing around with being a photographer, is a photographer now and just hasn't tried it yet, I definitely highly recommend signing up for local art shows. One, they're usually cheap. There's usually a registration fee, and that helps cover, the costs for the organizers and, whatever else they need. But it's a great way to get out there, especially in your local community, and showcase your work. I know I'm never going to make millions of dollars from my photography. I don't think anybody does, even the professionals. And that's okay. For me, it's more about the art. That's what I care about. I care about being able to take a picture, get it processed, get it framed, and have it available for somebody to take home and put on their wall. Anything I put out is a piece of work I'm proud of. So, my advice to you is definitely take the leap if you haven't. If you've been thinking about it, take the leap. You never know what could come with it. It's worked for me. It could work for you too. And if you're somebody who's one of those people who doesn't know what to do with their hands when they start talking to people, it's great practice to just get out and talk to people. So what I've been doing the past couple of years with these art shows is lugging all my work back and forth from home to the show. And that's great and all, except I was storing it in the basement. And about a year ago, for the Art on the Alley that happened in October 2020, well, first I was surprised we had it, because lockdown was in full effect, and, things were really uncertain then. But we had it, and I was excited. I was nervous, not gonna lie. But I was getting ready for the show, and trying to get all my work together. Again, it's in the basement. Well, mind you, all my children have moved out, so I have no help. Carrying up the crates with pictures, heard a loud snap, and realized I did some real damage to my knee. So, I've decided instead to store the stuff in water-resistant totes in the garage. That way it makes it easier. So, you're going to sell our art show. Great. One thing I recommend you try is try printing it out yourself. If you got a good photo printer, I say definitely do that. Because it'll come out looking exactly the way you want it to. Secondly, go on Amazon. Get these cardboard corners. One thing I found with lugging this stuff around back and forth several times is the frames can get scratched up pretty easily. And that ain't cool. Put these on, provides a nice buffer between your images and the other images, the other frames. So it keeps them nice and secure. So what I'm doing tonight is I'm going to go through everything, decide what I need. Okay, I do have that one. This is one of my favorite images I've taken this year. Back in June, I posted that video on here. You can take a look at it. I went to the former Houghton Joy manufacturing facility in New Philadelphia. It is in the process of being torn down. The plant has sat idle for several years, quite a while I believe actually, and the local economic development group wants to redevelop the land to make it something more marketable, which is good. But they have to clean up the land too, because, let's face it, regulations over the years haven't been that stringent, and we use things like asbestos back in the day to build things. So they need to clean that all up. Well, before they tore it down, they wanted somebody to go in and take pictures of the building. It was an incredible assignment, just no doubt about it. I'm not from the generation, but my father's generation, my mother's generation, they were of the generation where your parent went off, worked in a factory, worked all day. That job provided for the family, sent kids to school, all that good stuff. Sorry, that's my dogs barking. And unfortunately, manufacturing is a dying industry in the United States. Nothing political about it, just a fact. So there was a great sense of awe as I was walking through the factory. You could just feel the spirit, the electricity, whatever you want to call it, however you want to perceive it. You could feel it. It was palpable. And all I wanted to do was honor those people that spent all that time there. Because let's face it, I worked full time. A lot of people work full time. Or away from home. You put your heart and soul into what you do to keep the roof over your head and the lights on. Well, but it's different these days, I think. Back then, it was a different breed. I can't explain it. But yeah, it was definitely an experience, a vibe. You could still feel it there. And driving by, and this was back at the very end of May, beginning of June when I did that shoot. And now the vast majority of places that I shot are rubble being cleaned up. So it's sad to see. It was sad to see it go, but it was a real honor and a privilege to go in there and shoot. I'll post the link to that video. You can either hit it off of my page or just hit the link below. One more crate. Okay, I think I know what I need. I'm not going to lift this last crate up. It's way too heavy and my back won't be happy with me. So the big takeaway from today's episode, which, by the way, this episode is brought to you by me, because I'm just starting out and I don't have any sponsors, nor am I really looking for any. I'm just going to do this as a, my talking head place to do something, create it, put it up. If you like it, great, leave a like. If not, oh well, there's lots of other photographers with more information. But key takeaway, celebrate your work, promote your work. Don't be afraid to share your work. I know nowadays, we have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all the social medias, where you can instantly share something out. I use Instagram mainly for posting pictures of my dogs, but I do post work up there right now to celebrate Arttober. Through the month of October, I have a post a day of work I've done that I'm proud of, that I'm sharing up there for 31 days. So check me out on Instagram, and I'm going to trip. Also on Facebook at Andy Donaldson Photography. I'm going to walk out frame here for a second. Check it out on there too. There's this reframe that. There we go. It's warm out here. And every day I post an image and something about it. So share your work. Share your work with the world. Don't be afraid to. Take the leap. Sell your work. There's art festivals everywhere. They're always looking for people. Fortunate that there's one in New Philadelphia. I've done events in Zoar, Christmas in Zoar, mainly. And people will stop and take a look at your work. And you get to interface with people. You get to talk to people about it. You know, so probably one of the biggest pieces of work that people ask the most amount of questions of is this one here. It's in focus. Can't really see it very well on here, but that's a picture of the stars moving through the night sky over the schoolhouse in Zoar. You know, I always get asked, how did you do that? How did you make the stars move? Well, first, the stars do that. They move through the sky. The northern star doesn't move. All the other stars rotate around it. So I was interested in doing star trail photography. Read an article online, Googled it, and basically, like I tell people, it's a series of images, 30-second exposures, taken over an hour, hour and a half, individual pictures. I pop them into Lightroom, and the neighbor's cutting their yard. Pop them into Lightroom, blend them together, export it out, and finish the editing in Lightroom, and done. Hold on. Neighbors. The biggest amount of time is taking the images. You set up the tripod on the camera, got your shutter release, you make sure your focus is set, lock down your shutter release, have the camera set for 30 seconds or have one of those timer releases. Hold on. Okay. Hold down the shutter release, lock it in, or use one of those timer releases. Sometimes I go as much as a minute per exposure and then have it advance. And then after that, you come up with a couple hundred images. Like I said, and a good amount of time too, depending on the speed of your computer can be, for actually merging that data together. I use Adobe Bridge to migrate each image to a layer in Photoshop before selecting them all and then doing the blend. So that can take a little bit of time. That can be a processor hog. Just be warned of that. But once you got it, you got it. And I highly recommend to anybody who's ever wanted to try it, just go try it. It's simple. I posted a blog, actually. I have a blog as well, tuskpix.com. I'll post a link to that article down below. So if you're interested in doing star trails, definitely give it a shot. It's something different, something unique. Being that I'm in rural Ohio, it's very easy to do. Towards the city, it's harder because light pollution always plays a factor. I mean, Canton is 15 miles north of us, and that plays into the whole light pollution thing. So anyways, that's all I got to say right now. Go out, sell your work, try new things. Don't be afraid, be fearless, make good life choices, and we'll see you next time. Bye.